Hey guys, once again I am Wolf from the Fox, and welcome to a continuation of part 2 of my Everything We Know About Overwatch so far series. Last time we showcased the offensive heroes, and we had some shining stars, but now it's the defense's turn. So let's get started. As a defense player, your main role will be to control the objectives, and to build a solid defense while taking advantage and creating choke points on the map. Let's get into those heroes that look to defend. First up this time around is the ice-cold Mei. Mei is a climatologist that worked for Overwatch's Eco Watchpoints, which were created to help combat the quickly declining ecosystem of the planet. While in this initiative, Mei introduced cutting-edge innovations in the field of climate manipulation. While assigned to an Eco Watchpoint in Antarctica, a storm hit that forced the entire team into a state of cryostasis until a rescue attempt was made. That attempt never came, and Mei was found years later, the lone survivor of a last effort to help save their team. When Mei was found, she awoke to a new world where Overwatch fell and the climate had continued to worsen. Mei still carries her climate manipulation tech traveling around the world in hopes of saving the declining ecosystem. Mei's primary ability, as previously stated, is her endothermic blaster, or simply put, a freeze ray. It can either shoot a short stream of frost that damages and freezes an enemy, or icicle projectiles at a medium range. Other abilities include Cryo Freeze. While cryo-frozen, she heals herself while ignoring damage, but as a trade-off cannot move or use other abilities. Ice Wall is self-describing. Mei creates a giant wall of ice that can block attacks and create a good choke point. Mei's ultimate ability is Blizzard, in which she throws a weather modification drone that creates a mini blizzard, damaging and slowing enemies that are trapped inside. If inside long enough, it can freeze them. Junkrat is next, and let's talk about things that can go boom. Junkrat is the product of an attack on the Australian Omnium fusion core. When the attack hit, Australia was turned into a wasteland filled with ruins. Those who were left behind in its wake were called Junkers. Junkers formed a society in the fallout of this attack, and Junkrat was one of them. Being affected by lingering radiation, Junkrat is an explosive-loving individual. After finding a notable item in the bones of the Omnium, Junkrat grew to be known. Being pursued by various bounty hunters, gangs, and opportunists, they were all looking to capitalize on his finding. He made a deal with the Junker Roadhog to be his new personal bodyguard, in exchange for a 50-50 split of whatever he got in return. Now Junkrat left his decimated home to cause havoc everywhere else. For abilities, as stated before, expect some boom. His primary is a frag launcher that shoots grenades which can bounce and inevitably explode when they hit an enemy. Concussion Mine is a homemade mine that can be used to either launch and damage enemies, or launch himself to get to a point faster. Steel Trap is a massive bear trap that can be thrown on an area. When an enemy gets close, it can clamp down onto them, injuring and immobilizing them for a short time. Total Mayhem takes advantage of Junkrat's explosive personality. When killed, he drops several grenades where he died that will explode. His ultimate ability is Rip Tire, a giant motorized and spiked tire that rolls around and can be remotely detonated, dealing serious damage to enemies. Robots are always cool, right? That's why next up is Bastion. Bastion was once a fighter in the Omnic Crisis, but now spends most of his days exploring the world, being fascinated by nature. Most of the Bastion units were turned against man and fought as the primary source of the Omnic's army. As for this one, he was attacked and left forgotten for decades. During this time is when he was exposed to nature and all the elements. One day he was unexpectedly reactivated. Following this, it set out into the world to explore and discover its purpose. Though a gentle being, it can activate its combat programming when a threat is sensed. Bastion's primary ability will be Configuration Recon, which comes with a submachine gun that fires bullets at a medium range. An alternative to Recon is Configuration Sentry, where Bastion becomes stationary and equips a barrier and a sentry gun that can deal great damage at short to medium ranges. Continuing, Reconfigure causes Bastion to transform between his two primary modes. Self-repair is self-explanatory and will allow Bastion to restore health at the expense of being able to move and fire weapons. Its ultimate ability is Configuration Tank, which turns Bastion into a tank that shoots shells for massive blast radius for a limited time. Hanzo is a member of the Shimada family and the older son of the family's head. From when he was young, he was trained to one day succeed and rule the Shimada Empire when his father died. Being a great leader with excellent strategy, Hanzo is also adept in martial arts, swordplay, and bowmanship. Following the death of his father, Hanzo was instructed by the clan's elders to straighten out his younger brother so that he can assist in ruling the new empire. When he expected resistance, Hanzo was forced to ultimately kill his brother, which broke his heart and caused him to reject the empire he was once set to rule and abandon the clan. Now traveling the world, Hanzo is attempting to perfect his skills and restore his honor. Hanzo's primary ability is Storm Bow, where you will fire continuous arrows at your enemies. Sonic Arrow is an extension of the bow that will fire an arrow with a sonar tracking device in which enemies are marked. Scatter Arrow shoots an arrow that will split and bounce off walls, allowing the chance to hit multiple targets at once. For an ultimate ability, Hanzo has Dragon Strike, in which a spirit dragon is summoned and travels in a line, passing through walls and devouring any enemies in its path. Torbjorn is next, and also the most fun name to say by far. The main supplier of Overwatch's weapons, Torbjorn had gained notoriety from designing weapon systems used by countries all over the world. Torbjorn also did not trust the sentient robots, and while originally being thought of as paranoid, his worst fears came true in the form of the Omnic Crisis. Following Overwatch's fall, many of the weapons that Torbjorn had were stolen and stashed around the world. Now Torbjorn wanders the world determined to stop his own weapons from getting into the hands of people who can cause chaos. Torbjorn's main ability is his Rivet Gun, which fires molten metal at a close range. Forge Hammer is used to either upgrade and repair turrets, or can be used as a weapon when swung. Speaking of turrets, Torbjorn can also build turrets and can upgrade them from scraps of fallen enemies and teammates. When they are upgraded, they get additional health and gain a second cannon barrel. Armor Pack is a device that can be thrown on the ground to pick up by either himself or from his allies. Doing so causes the person who picked it up to receive slight damage resistance. Finally, his ultimate ability is Molten Core, which gives him significant armor and scrap. Also coupled with this is the ability to build and repair turrets at an impressively fast rate. Finally, for the defensive heroes, we have Widowmaker. Widowmaker is an assassin and efficient killer with no emotion or remorse. It was believed that she was married to an Overwatch agent, Gerard, who was leading operations against the Talon terrorist organization. Talon made attempts on the agent's life, which were unsuccessful, and led to them changing their focus to his wife. Widowmaker was kidnapped by Talon and was put under multiple tests that programmed her to be a sleeper agent for them. Eventually she was found by Overwatch agents and returned to normal life, seeming normal at least. 2 weeks following, she killed Gerard in his sleep. After, she returned to Talon and was further subjected to the organization's projects. She was given training in covert arts and had her physiology altered to slow her heart rate and, as a result, turned her skin cold and blue. Now as Talon's most effective assassin, she eagerly seeks her next job. Her primary weapon will be Widow's Kiss, a rifle that can alternate between a sniper for long range and a full auto rifle for closer targets. Grappling Hook allows Widowmaker to get to certain points on the map a bit quicker, throwing a hook that propels her in a direction of the hook's rope. Venom Mine is a device that will stick to just about any surface and, when passed by an enemy, will detonate and release poisonous gas. Her ultimate ability is Infrasight, in which she can seek heat signatures of her enemies through walls for a short amount of time. Teammates also gain this ability when she sees enemies through walls. That is all the defensive heroes, and that'll about do it here. Next time we step into the tanks of Overwatch, continuing part 2, then follow with the support heroes for the final video, so be sure to watch out for that. As always, like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more Overwatch. Thanks for watching.